Hello and welcome back. If you are new here, hi. My name is Amy Prokopis. I am a paranormal romance and romantasy author, always with a little spice. I am indie published, and I go live on Sundays here on YouTube every single week, and we do live writing sprints. If you've never done a live writing sprint, another word for it is just productivity sprint, which means you set a timer for a specific time limit and you dedicate yourself to a task during that amount of time, usually not a really long time limit. And then when the timer goes off, you get a little bit of a break to relax, do some other things, and then you continue doing rounds of it until the task is completed or until you've just whatever you've said. So on Sundays, we do 3 rounds of 25 minutes each, and we chat in between about just writing related things, how our stories are going, where I am in my own projects, and just connect, fun updates, just see how everyone's doing. It's a great time. So welcome. I am happy you are here. Today I am starting, because I did not get to start earlier in the day like I had planned. I am starting on implementing edits that I've made for Taming the Beast, which is my next spicy vampire romance. It is book 1 in a duology. There will only be 2. I am planning to rapid release them. There is some crossover with this duology with my already continuing Curse of Wings series, which is also a vampire romance. Book 3 in that series releases this fall. And there's a portion of book 3, like a brief chapter, and then book 3 that overlaps with Taming the Beast, book 1, which is what we're editing tonight. I have already written it, obviously. And this last week, I spent the week reading through the book in its entirety and making notes. I always do that stage on my Kindle. That way I avoid putting my writer hat on and making adjustments in the final document. So we've already made those adjustments, notes. And tonight I am going to go through my Kindle, look at all of the highlighted portions, all of my notes, and make the adjustments on the final document. So that is the stage I am in right now. My goal, holy moly. Let me get a drink of water real fast. My goal for this week is to be finished with this phase of editing in just a couple of days. That way, by this time next week, so next Sunday, I will be drafting book 2. I have not released the title yet for book 2. I am not for sure when I am doing that, but I will do that soon. It will always go to my Patreon first. So Patreon members are going to get all of that exclusive updates first. They may even get that title drop this week before I start the book. So that is that. Welcome in to my office. We're in a little bit of a different backdrop. I've just scooted over from where I was before. I like the cleaner look back here for videos. I think it's a lot less distracting, even though I love my bookshelf. I just think it's a little easier to focus on things. So that is where we landed today. So like I said, drop in the comments what you are working on tonight. I am working on implementing edits for Taming the Beast. I am excited. So put it in the comment section. If you haven't already, drop in there what you are working on tonight. In a minute, I am going to plug in some headphones to zone in with some music while I go through the chapters and make my edits. I also still have my kiddo up, so I am going to go finish our nighttime routine here in just a second. So I'm going to bop back in. But we are going through my Kindle today where I've made my notes and my highlights, and we are implementing them into the final document. So first round of edits. I will do this kind of again. I'll do this with my editor in April. So I am a bit ahead of the game. Book doesn't go to her until April. And then I will go back through it a little bit myself. And my PA bestie, Jill, who proofreads all of my stuff, she will go through the final version before it goes to ARC readers also. So there are a lot of different eyes that will be on this book before all things are said and done. A lot of things still left to do in planning for this book. So lots of little things, but I am excited. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be great. And I am excited to have all of you guys with me. Sorry if my voice, hopefully I won't be coughing through the whole thing. I've just been a little bit under the weather this last week. I talked a little bit about that in the vlog for this week also. So I'm still getting over some allergy related things, but doing much better. Yes. So we are going to move into our first sprint of the night. Like I said, we will do 3. So sprint number 1 is 25 minutes, and then we will be back to chat. I think we will chat about Taming the Beast and book 2 updates a little bit more in depth, along with whatever kind of things you guys want to chat about. Always drop them in the chat and we can talk about that as well. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to plug in some earphones, headphones, whatever. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, sprint. Oh, oh my gosh. Okay, here we are. Oh, I'm going to take those out. I just finished chapter 4. So I was able to edit all the way up to chapter 5 because, again, I didn't get to start earlier today like I wanted to. So I'm starting editing tonight, right now. So I was able to implement edits for 4 chapters in the first sprint, which is great. I did have to pop out for a minute to do mom duty, basically. So I did have some other things I had to get to first. Other stuff I might do tonight as well is planning ahead for marketing, at least for tomorrow. I would really like to get back to the days where I was a lot more put together and I could schedule out stuff. That was so much easier to manage, a lot less stressful. But at this time, I have not quite been able to keep up with that. So I don't know about that. We'll see. But my priority is getting through implementing edits, even though I don't have to get this draft to my editor until April. So I have plenty of time to look over it and tinker with it, which I think is a really good thing, just because I am planning to start writing book 2, which kind of goes into the notes down below for this first break is updates for Taming the Beast / Billionaire Beasts of New York, which is the duology title. I have not announced the title of book 2. I do know what it is. I've known for a long time with both of these books. I knew well before I ever really planned them out what they were going to be called. But I have not announced it yet. That is something I'll save for my Patreon members first, of course. So no plans to release that yet. But it took me about 3 months to draft Taming the Beast. I am going to allot myself another 3 months to draft book 2. And even though I am kind of chomping at the bit to go ahead and start that this week, I am giving myself a loose date to start on the 15th because I am also going to be out of town for this coming weekend. I think I am anyway. We haven't finalized like plans. We may just be making a trip out and back. But I have a book signing in Oklahoma City, in the Oklahoma City area at Love Stories bookstore. I will be there on the 14th. So on Saturday afternoon, which is exciting. I haven't done an event out there before, but I've been wanting to. I just haven't had the time. So that will be really fun. I am, fingers crossed, hoping that a small shipment of books gets here this week that I can take with me to this event. If not, it would not be the end of the world, but it is the Curse of Wings series. So it is my best-selling series, and I like to keep that well-stocked because I know it does well at events and such. So I really hope that book comes in. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe sending the extra shipment out that way for consignment eventually. But I have that coming up. The next week is spring break. We are not doing any big spring break plans. I think we're just going to be staying around the area, staying around home. I am doing work through that week. So I'm still working. I'm not actually off unless I have a lot of clients cancel in things for spring break. So I need to start asking about that this week, as a matter of fact. That way I can move people around, because if I can get an extra day off too, because I have enough people cancel on me, I think I will take that for some family time and just a little bit of extra time off. So we will see. But that is the plan for Taming the Beast, is to finish implementing my edits this week. And I want to be started on book 2 on I think that's the 15th, Sunday. Yeah, I want to be started on the 15th. So that is the plan for this week. That gives me a lot of time to just like casually implement my edits for this book, which is fun. Yeah, I think it'll go really, really well. So looking forward to it. Okay. Speaking of looking forward, would like to go ahead and keep continuing with some momentum. I'm hoping maybe I can double what I've done in the first sprint because I had to get up and I ran around a little bit to do mom things. So maybe I can take that time and I will be able to double that and I will be able to get to chapter 10 to implement edits. We will see. I don't think there was a whole lot early on, so I should be able to. So fingers crossed we'll double that and we'll get to chapter 10. So, all right, we're going to move into sprint number 2 of 3 over here, doing another 25 minutes. And then when we come back, we'll talk more about the Curse of Wing series and how things are going to connect in, because I am publishing these 2 books, this duology before I'm going to continue with book 3 in Curse of Wings. There is like a reason behind that, not just because I needed a break or anything. There is some kind of logistics there. There's not a reading order per se. We'll get into that in a little bit, why I decided to get this duology out first. And we'll chat more about that after 25 minutes. So plugging back in. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, sprint. Okay. We were successful. So I have now implemented edits up through chapter 10. So now I'm staring at chapter 11, which is amazing. So I'm hoping that in this next sprint, I'll be able to do 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So that is what I am hoping for. I'm hoping I can kind of continue this pace also into the next couple of days. I would love to be able to just chip away more and more. Like I said, my goal is to finish implementing edits for this round of edits this week and to start writing book 2 by Sunday. So in between all of that, I am doing prep work on my outline of book 2 and also kind of thinking about the title reveal information for Patreon. I'll probably do something similar to what I did with posting the title for Taming the Beast. So we will see what I end up doing. But I do want to reveal that to Patreon members first for sure. Yeah, it should be pretty good. So that is basically where I am right now. As far as updates for Curse of Wings, so I've already talked about this a little bit in the past, but if you are new here, and just to keep everyone up to date on the same information week to week, the reason I decided to go ahead and publish this duology first is because there is a scene in Taming the Beast. It actually is most of a chapter, and it involves a very important character from the Curse of Wings series, specifically something in book 3 that happens to kind of kick off that book. For book 3, it is important for, I think, setting the pace for the rest of the series for sure. It puts a timeline on things. So I really needed, well, I didn't need, but when I had the idea for that scene, it was originally just a part of book 3. And it was just the next thing in book 3. But the idea of this underground nightclub in this whole universe of werewolves and vampires running this supernatural kind of mafia thing to keep everyone in line in New York City was super interesting. And so were the characters that immediately came to mind that I thought, maybe this is a standalone. And then I immediately said, well, no, it wouldn't just be this one person in charge. There would be more. And then it became a duology, and I can already see tons of spinoffs from other things into this web of this supernatural world I built. So, yeah, that is where everything started. And that's when, as I started to plan out this duology, which came together very quickly, I started to think ahead at Curse of Wings, book 3, and I realized that the scene I was wanting to show was kind of hard. I was finding it really difficult to find a place for it in book 3 that made the most sense. And the details were really important. And so it needed to be in book 3. And that's when I realized, especially as I started writing Taming the Beast, that that's not the scene that's in book 3. That's what happens, but it happens in Taming the Beast, and in Curse of Wings, it is going to be referenced. So there will be a different scene inserted that will reference this one in Taming the Beast. You will not have to read this duology in order for book 3 to make sense, but it does add just some like fun elements. It's kind of like a bonus scene in some ways for Curse of Wings, but it's told from this other perspective of these vampires, werewolves running the supernatural world of New York City. So as I was writing, I realized that the reason I couldn't find a space for it in the third Curse of Wings book is because it doesn't fit there to begin with. It's something to be discussed and referenced. So something I think that will even happen before book 3 kicks off, and then we will get the scene in which it will be referenced that this has happened. So I think that works really well. And so when I realized that, it was just even more bittersweet that this duology comes out first. I do plan to rapid release it all. And so ideally, the way it will work is that Taming the Beast will come out a few weeks later, up to maybe a month, book 2, and then maybe another week, a few weeks later, another month after that, Curse of Wings book 3. That is the plan. We will see. And so now, since I am kind of stretching out my time a little bit, depending on how quickly I can write book 2 and when I can get into my editor, because that kind of pushed things back just a little bit for me. I'm thinking that all 3 of these books will be out kind of together in the fall-ish time. So that is where things fall for Curse Wings. So that's the update. I kind of have already explained that, but I don't think I've gone into as much depth, at least in one of these live streams, about my thinking with the duology, with that scene. I know I mentioned it in a vlog a while back, but I couldn't tell you which one. So to point you in the right direction. So I'm just restating it here so everyone's on the same wavelength. Okay. So I am hoping to get up through chapter 15. That is the goal for sprint number 3, which is what we are going to start now. We are going to do sprint number 3, and I don't plan to stay up at all to finish writing. I plan to tear everything down, close up the office, and go to bed because I have been kind of low energy this week. I think it's been between allergies, just being really run down, and time change, I'm sure. So I want to get lots of rest going into this week because we have lots to do. So that is where we are. So plugging back in, and we are going to jump straight back in with chapter 11. So 25 minutes on the clock in 3, 2, 1, sprint. Alrighty. So that is everything for tonight. I am really impressed with myself because I was able to keep the pace exactly as I had hoped. So I have edited 15 chapters tonight. And by edited, I mean implemented my edits. I had already made my notes again on my Kindle and highlighted things, made all my suggestions. So I tonight was just going in chapter by chapter and inputting my edits or my notes, making the adjustments on the final document. So I am feeling really good about where I am and what I've got done. Sorry, I had a little note over there I needed to clarify before I forgot. So yeah, this week, like I said, I have a book signing at Love Stories bookstore in Oklahoma City on the 14th. So next Saturday, I'm spending this week doing the final adjustments and edits. I say final, not final. Doing my first round of edits on Taming the Beast. I am inputting that into the final document this week. I want to finish that this week, and I want to start writing book 2 by next Sunday. So our next week live stream, I think we'll be live. I'm not for sure. Again, like I said, I'm not sure what weekend plans are yet. We may be doing some fun things for the weekend, and so I may take next Sunday off. But of course, I will make sure to make a note and show you guys all of that information before we get there. But if we do meet next week, I will be writing the beginning of book 2, which is exciting. If I haven't already written stuff before then. So I am just trying to keep my pacing a little bit further out than what I would like, because I know I tend to take on a bit too much. And there are things in my life I would kind of like to prioritize over others now. Not that writing is at all going by the wayside. I'm just being a little bit more realistic with what I am capable of at the moment in my life, and allow myself a little space to do other things, like get back to distance running, which is something I miss doing a lot. I used to run half marathons and I miss it a ton. So I want to get back into doing that, just some other things, spend more time with people I care about in my personal life, and yeah, just feel less pressure as far as getting things done. So yes, I am excited. So thank you guys for tuning in. I really don't have a whole lot else going on, just finishing inputting edits. So that is what I will be doing this week. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. This is always a good time. Make sure to like the video. Likes really, really help. And subscribe if you are not. Maybe leave me a comment after the stream to tell me what you are excited for this week and looking forward to. Comments, likes, subscribes, all those little things help a lot. So thank you guys so much for being with me. Read books, be kind, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.